What's up, my Nerf friends? Welcome to the fire tier list of Alchemy Stars. So this is after the newest banner, Novio, and I figured I will make an up-to-date tier list for the fire element. And if you know me, I am a fire main, so I can say I know my shit a little bit. Now, I don't have every single fire unit, but I have majority of them, and I have them at level 80. So I do have tested a lot of them out, and I have pretty firm belief on most of them. So starting the first one, Novio. So Novio is the fire healer which we got recently. After testing him out for pretty much all the stages, I'm pretty confident he is the best unit in terms of fire elements. First of all, he is unrivaled in terms of healing for any fire units, because the only other character that provide as consistent healing as Novio is Alice. So Alice is not great, but Alice still can heal pretty decent amount, and you know, it's never wrong to sometimes have two healers in your team for pure survival stage. So I still think there are some scenario where you would use Alice, but Alice is definitely just a budget version of Novio at this point, because Novio not only can heal, he can also do pretty decent damage. And the shield Novio provide is far more outweighed the shield Alice provide. Novio is a really core unit and a fire team if you really want to just make your life much easier. And we have Bram. So Bram is a teleporter that is focusing on wave mechanics. So he has this weird equipment that let him heal after a wave. However, this wave mechanic is not very frequent. It's not a lot of current content has this wave mechanic. So I do think he is just a decent teleporter with very low cooldown. But the range is a little bit limited. He does has pretty good stats. But his chain combo is the radio one, which is not the greatest. I do think Bram is just slightly on the good side. And we have Smokey. Smokey is my favorite unit in terms of design. And I like stronger that like to act strong but soft on the inside. And I would say Smokey is kind of similar to Bram, a little bit worse. But I think it's hard to compare Bram with Smokey, even though both of them teleports. Smokey has a 3 cooldown and preemptive strike on breakthrough 3, and Bram gets preemptive strike right away and has a 1 cooldown teleport. However, Smokey also can she can reset the tiles in a 2 cluster range. And this is actually pretty useful in some stages, like Shadow Blast. If you don't have Uriel, Smokey actually helps a lot while being able to teleport. Yeah, other than that, you do need to get breakthrough 3 for Smokey, otherwise she is a very weak character if she doesn't get breakthrough 3. So kind of same treatment with Bethlehem, but I don't think her ability is that strong, but I still think she's good in terms of fire units, right? And we have Sensa. I do think Sensa is best unit and maybe somewhat deserving of his own spot. Sensa is kind of known as the best unit of Alchemy Stars, and I kind of agree. He actually can be used in many teams, not just fire. He's a very good captain because of his equipment, mostly about his equipment. I don't think his active skill matters that much. Yeah, I mean, that's a little bit damage, but his equipment can give you diagonal attacks. It's already very strong. And not only that, he also have a defense down equipment. So every time he attack, he will apply a defense down debuff on the enemies. And this will make every single hits you do after Sensa attack do way more damage, because of how defense is calculated. So yeah, Sensa just great, and he is a perfect captain for pretty much every single team if you're not playing on Spire. And we have Charon. So Charon is kind of similar with Sensa, but he's more on like a well-balanced type. So he also have the diagonal attack from his equipment, but what makes him different from Sensa is Chandra has a way better active skill. So Chandra is a very stacked unit. Not only he has a diagonal attack, which is a very good equipment, and he also has pretty good stats, really good chain combo, and the active skill is very strong. He can reset and potentially get you some more red tiles, and he can push enemy the direction you want. This can matters a lot if the stages you are doing can be pushed around. And he also unlocked preemptive strike on breakthrough 3, so pretty decently cheap to get a preemptive strike. And his maximum breakthrough is also very strong, which increased the red tiles you get from his active skill. Overall, a really good unit, totally deserving in the best spot, and even in the whale level, he is like immensely strong. And we have our resident Osil character, the legendary Aurorian Frostfire. It's kind of hard to rate Frostfire, in my opinion, because she is just not doing enough. Like, she has something, but everything she does just does not do enough damage. And you can kind of argue that after you give her maximum breakthrough, the active skill actually become pretty useful. But I don't know, man. I don't think it's that good. Good in some stages is kind of a stretch. I really tempted to put here at no one use, but I think that's still a little bit too harsh. I think that's a little bit too harsh for Frostfire. So I'm just gonna put her at good at some stages. If you manage to get her maximum breakthrough, I do think she can be used in some stage. But I would say if you are low on resource, you don't have to invest in her, since you do get her at A3 level 1 right away. If you do go for her in the Osil, you can just keep her as that and use her on the new mechanics, right? The Calamity Codex or the Data Disc. She can do okay all of those stages, but I don't think you need to invest too heavily into her. And then we have Uriel. Uriel is also a pretty weird unit. So if you have used Uriel in maximum breakthrough before, like through a friend unit, or you have her maximum breakthrough, you understand that she's very strong. However, without breakthrough 3, I do think she is just kind of meh. So yeah, at maximum breakthrough, she's best unit, but without maximum breakthrough, she's okay and very good in some stages, such as the Shadow Blast, because she can clear all the broken tiles right away if you have breakthrough 3. And then we have Jonah. Jonah is a good unit as well. She's kind of doesn't really have too much special things in her, but she just kind of do everything okay. That's my opinion about her. I do use her a little bit in the early games, and I do think she's okay. She does have quite a good damage output with her active skill on, and chain combo requirement reduction is quite a unique thing to have. Not much will have it other than Vivian, but Vivian sucks. Jonah doesn't suck that much, and she also has a splash damage normal attack. Could be useful, but currently I don't see that much use in her. There are certain Spire can use Jonah a little bit because she does punch really hard with her normal attack. And there are some Spire stages require you to deal no damage with chain combo and active skills. So Jonah can do pretty decent over there because, well, her active skill boosts her damage, so it's not really doing damage that way. So yeah, it's kind of this too, but I'll put her in a good category because she is pretty flexible. And then we have Victoria. I would say Victoria used to be good until Novio exists. And now I want to put Victoria in the good in some stages categories right now. So Victoria is kind of like a hybrid damage dealer and a pseudo healer, pretty similar with what Novio wants to be, but Novio just do it so much better. So I'm just scratching my head now. When would you actually use Victoria these days when you have Novio? And the answer is not much. So right now, Victoria just in a weird spot because of Novio exists. I do want to say Novio does power creep her. So yeah, if you get her right now, maybe don't invest too much into her unless you really like her, which I believe a lot of people will. She is the leader of True Order that can turn a lot of people on, I guess. She is very sexy as well. But yeah, right now, don't see too much use in her. And we have Cordy. Actually, let me do the 6-star first. Icy. So IC is a 4 tiles converters. She is a really good unit. I mean, all 4 tile converters are great, and I do think IC is one of the best one because she has a healing equipment. Every 3 turns, his chain combo will ignore defense and also heal based on the damage. Very good equipment actually. I used to use AC as my healing for a lot of time, but these days the healing pretty much get carried by Novio. So I do think her power level dropped a little bit because of Novio, but still 4 tile converters is a great choice on pretty much all the stages. We have Cordy here. So Cordy is actually I use Cordy a little bit, and my opinion on her is on paper a stun and a paralyze seems pretty good, but man, the range is so small. It's actually really difficult to use, and to think that you only can stun 2 times, I didn't really thought about this, but stunning 2 times is very little, especially when you have 1 cooldown, right? For now, I don't see any use in her because I thought she will be useful in calculation, but apparently stunning 2 times is not enough in that stage. But yeah, it's kind of, I can put her here, but currently I don't see it. So far, Cordy, you are in this spot, and I don't think she's budget version of anyone because not much unit stuns anyway. Genevieve, what do I want to put Genevieve at? She's a teleporter like Bram, but yeah, I just put her as the budget version of good. I do think she share a lot of similarity with Bram's, but Bram is just better because Bram has detonator chain and Bram has way more stats, right? Genevieve is pretty cool. I mean, the maximum breakthrough allow her to teleport 2 times if she able to hit the unit in the first teleport. But that's on the maximum breakthrough side. So yeah, I just put her here for now. And Taki, yeah, Taki Copium, he's not good. The ability is way too much cooldown for such a mediocre abilities, and you only convert 1 tiles, and everything else he does just mediocre, not good. Itzvan is definitely a good tier. I use Itzvan a lot, probably because how fire team works. It's feel very bursty, right? Like fire team really want the burst damage, and Itzvan fits very well into that, giving you the double chain. I don't think he's mandatory, but definitely a good unit, especially after you get breakthrough 2. He's a fantastic unit in your arsenal. And we have a unit that I actually don't have yet. I actually can't tell too much, but I do see Leona used a lot in Spire or some other stages. Leona is actually pretty decent for applying the burn effect. Way better than Uriel because Leona can apply burn on hit, and that is just great. Leona is just great on like damage over time build as well, but I don't have her, so can't say too much. So currently good in some stages, pretty good in Elysium. Faust is similar with IC. I actually kind of curious why the fire element is the only element can convert every single color into red. So AC can convert, I think, green and blue to red, and then Faust can convert yellow to red. So every single color can convert to red. Where you have the other element, which they always have this one color they can convert, and Faust actually able to kind of complement AC a lot, makes him a lot better. However, I do want to say his equipment is kind of annoying. Like this random fear sometimes will actually ruin your game if you're not careful because you cannot control it. And yeah, it's a bit annoying, but other than that, yeah, it's actually a pretty good unit, and you will need him in some stages, especially Spire. Let me just say that. And Maggie, yeah, Maggie is those counter characters where at maximum breakthrough, she's insane. But other than that, yeah, just a good characters because she's a cross converters, and cross converters really rely on the abilities. And if you have maximum breakthrough, well, you can use the ability on the first turn. You can burst down a boss very quickly. Very similar to Uriel. Maximum breakthrough is insane. No breakthrough is meh. We have Benny and Kuro. I don't use Benny and Kuro that much because I have a lot of great fire units now. So I don't want to invest too much into another detonator. But I do think she's fine. And in the right team, Benny and Kuro can do pretty well. But other than that, she doesn't really provide insanely much of value. She's not like Charon, which offer a lot of utilities outside of the damage. It's not like Sensa, able to give like this damage threat and like a small teleport. All Benny Kuro does is damage, and she also needs a lot of support to get the maximum potential out, as opposed to Sensa, where not only he can be used in pretty much every single team, he's also just a good standalone unit. You can just put him anywhere. But Benny and Kuro really require a specific team supporting her. But overall, good unit if used right. Barbara, I'll say good in some stages. Barbara is also one of those characters kinda need maximum breakthrough to even start using her, because she has a 5 cooldown and she does a lot of damage. And one big thing is she can actually destroy rocks with her equipment. So if you have maximum breakthrough and you go on the stage that requires you to break rocks, you can just use the ability right away and break every single rock on the map. And that is a pretty useful ability, let me be frank here. But other than that, she can stun enemy on the red tiles, or like 30% chance to stun regardless or something. Yeah, the long cooldown does gimp her a lot. But other than that, I do think the ability to destroy rocks, unironically, pretty good. And we have Regina. So Regina is, I think, currently deserving a spawn on no one use her. I know I'm being a little bit harsh here, but I don't want you to invest into wrong characters, right? So Regina is a detonator with like a column abilities, column chain combo, and this chain combo can be a 5 rolls, right? I don't know, is it rolls or columns? I forgot. In theory, that sounds cool, but when you match together everything she does, her equipment and her active skill, she doesn't really provide that much other than the on paper good chain combo. And the use case is very specific, so you have to land on the right spot and also fighting only right now, I think, Nozart. I don't think there's any boss that you can hit every single hits other than Nozart with the 5 roll chain combo. The knockback ability is more of a detriment than good, because the only time you want to knock back enemies is on survival stage, and most of the survival stage I've seen so far are ridiculously easy, so you don't need this guy. I mean, this girl. So yeah, not very useful. You don't have to invest into her at all. Nothing much to say. Joni Boom. Actually I'm kind of fond of Joni Boom. Joni Boom is 2 columns resetters. So at Ascension 3, I think she can like apply burn or something with her chain combo. I mean, yeah, it's fine. It's definitely a fine characters, but there's nothing much else to say about it. If you have all the other unit over here, you probably won't invest into Joni Boom, but she's okay because the fact that she can reset, and some stages does need reset, just like how Smokey was able to use in some stages. But she's kind of like just a worse Smokey, right? She doesn't teleport. Yes, she reset and she can do like a little bit of burning. Very inconsistent though, but yeah. If you really have nothing better to invest, Joni Boom is okay. And here comes Nails. Nails is a weird unit. Nails is kind of borderline best unit, but I also kind of want to put him at good in some stages. I'll put him at good at some stages for now. So Nails is a really unique character. I think he is the only character that benefit you more the lower health you go. He is able to do a lot of bleeding damage, and the damage is also ignoring defense. So there are some stages require you to play some gimmick. There's this data disc. I don't remember what its name is. It's like tactical data disc or something, and it requires you to find the meteorites in the rocks, and then you can touch it and do like defense ignoring damage to the mobs. But Nails can kind of cheese that because he does a lot of damage and also ignoring defense. It's just really good unit that I think most people should race. Not only he is like really insanely strong in damage over time build, some stages that require defense ignore, he is just also really good at that. So exceptional unit, but I don't think you want to use him in every single stage, especially on bosses that you cannot bleed. Then don't use it, right? But other than that, fantastic unit. I think he is one of the best unit in the good in some stages tier. And we have Brock. Brock is Brock is a good unit you want to build just to farm faster. That's all I can say. Good in some stages, not really, but yeah, I guess. Brock is a good unit if you have a maximum breakthrough, so he will have a preemptive strike, and this will gather all the enemy close to you so you can kill them in one go. So this basically just help you farm faster, and nothing much to say. He can be used in some stages that like focusing on escaping next some of the monsters like don't want to go near you ever, and you can just whoop, gather all of them up and kill them. Pretty good in some stages, but other than that, still prioritize these units instead. And then we have Chandra. Chandra is also one of those units that is only really good on something, which is 90M bonus stages. If you have seen my guides for the low rarity units, you will see Chandra being one of them. And Chandra just must-have unit if you want to farm 90M efficiently. And outside of that, he can be used in some stages that has like spawning low health mobs. You can just pew 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 and then they all die. Raise Chandra for 90M efficiency mainly. And we have Patty and Patsy. Patty and Patsy is actually pretty good. Let me put him a little bit in front, like here. Patty and Patsy is a budget detonator, and he can do double chain combo if you go near the boss. If you have played Secret Territory, there's a relic called Mirror Image or something. Basically, Patty and Patsy does exactly that. It's a pretty decent damage dealer if you are just starting out, but the more you play, the more 6-star you get. She just can't replace the drop of Sensa and Charon, in my opinion. So, budget version of good. And also, his ability can destroy rock pretty well, so there's that. Tiny One. Tiny One is also a fantastic unit for if you're just lacking converters. She's just a nice unit to have because you don't need any copies of her other than the first copies. You get a preemptive strike red prism tiles you can place every 2 turns. Nice, it's just a nice ability. I use her to clear my first Spire 43. It's a good unit, but she does almost no damage. You only use her for the prism tiles. But yeah, if you really need a converter, use her. And we have Pepe. Pepe is also quite a good unit. So Pepe has a teleport that is 0 cooldown, and the first turn I think you can teleport actually a pretty big range. Pepe is just good on some stages that require you to be a little bit more mobilities. You can be a little bit more creative with how you play with Pepe. I would say instead of just onga bonga, I have big stats, I have big damage. Pepe actually require you to have a little bit more strategic play. Because of that, I do think Pepe is great. Yeah, enough said. And we have the last 2 units, which is the Sork and Back. This is just a 3-star detonator. No one really used him because he doesn't really do that much damage, and he only does damage as far as it can tell. And we have Chainsaw Rake. Okay, at least he can knock back enemies, and I guess that's somewhat useful than Sorkin back, but as far as I can tell, this knockback ability is not as good as I think. At least I don't really see much people use him other than that special extra stage, extra story or something that you use him just to clear that stage. But yeah, unless Toro introduce more that kind of gimmicks, I don't see Chainsaw Ring being used. I guess you can argue he is good in some stages because of that gimmick, but I think I'll just put him here so no one really go ahead and raise him because he does not need to be raised. Let's be frank. So yeah, that is concluding my tier list for fire units. I also make a forest tier list for the after Heady one. So if you want to check that out, I'll put the video right here. You can click on it and join it. I'll see you all next video. Peace.